Coach, when your star wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders says that this team is in a world of suck, what is your response to that?
He was just repeating what I had said in the locker room after the game. So, and that's, I told him, I said, we're going to have to deal with everybody thinking we suck. And, and all of us, not just players, coaches, everybody, the whole organization. And we need to deal with that. And so he was basically just repeating what I had said.
How do you deal with that?
You just have a strong upper lip, look at the positives, realize what the negatives are, do your best to correct those negatives, and know who you are as a person, as a team, and as a player and as a coach. We've all had some success at different degrees throughout our careers, even the players, the young ones, us as coaches, and we've got to just stick to it, get through the hard times.
What's a moment of adversity that you coached through?
Say it again.
A moment of adversity in your coaching career that you've been in that you've gotten through with that attitude.
There's been several. I can't, think of one offhand, really. But, anytime you've been in this league 30-some years, it's not all a bed of roses. And you just fight through it. The easiest thing to do is to just make wholesale changes, whether it be personnel, scheme, this, that, or the other thing. There's the old saying, if you keep doing the same thing and expect different results, that's not very smart. But there's also a saying, too, change for just change's sake isn't very smart either. So we've got to operate that fine line as a staff and realize what we're doing, is the mistakes we're making correctable, and then make a good, intelligent decision.
Do you believe you have the players you need to win, or do you believe the Broncos are essentially in the rebuilding stage?
No, we've got the players here to win. I believe in these players. I enjoy being around them every day. They're a bunch of good guys. They're trying their butts off. We just have to play a little bit better. And along with that, we have to coach better. If we're breaking down fundamentally in certain areas at critical times, that's an indictment on us as coaches too, not just the players.
Through 3 weeks, are there things in particular that lead you to believe you can turn things around here?
Yeah, and when you say turn around, I'm just looking to get to this game. I'm not looking at the entire season. We just got to figure out a way to go out and play our best, cleanest game this week. And yes, I do think we can.
After 3 losses, do you have to worry about guys pointing fingers or kind of the locker room intentions and everything like that?
Well, I think, that's the landscape of the NFL. You guys help perpetuate that too. And for us to just have our head in the sand and know that that may not happen would be bad on our part. So we have to talk about it. But I think we have the right kind of guys in here. And I think after we talk about it, I think everybody will move forward with the right frame of mind.
On some of Flacco's sacks, he had it for over 4 seconds yesterday. Do you want him to throw it away, or was he waiting for something to get open that didn't happen?
Well, everyone's a little different. Obviously on the early downs, meaning first and second down, throwing away would be advantageous, as long as you're throwing it away and it's an incompletion. On third down, if he's not sure, the extra 345-yard loss, if he's not sure that he can throw it away cleanly, really doesn't kill you that much. But, we've had a fair amount of sacks, but I don't think it's indicative of the way our O-line has been playing. Some sacks are caused by routes, too, not being cleanly run, or the defense jamming up a route. So each and every one has its own story. But overall, I think the offensive line, has not been perfect, but has done a pretty decent job.
Garrett in particular, how did you see him respond?
Good. He didn't get called for any holding penalties, which I know you were all waiting for. And it seemed, there wasn't many called in the game. I think there was only one called in the game. They may have gotten that same stat that you gave me last week. Be interesting to see. I'm going to put you in charge of that. How many offensive holding penalties were called this past week in the NFL?
Average of 3, Coach. It went down from 5.6 the first 2 weeks to 3 across the league.
That's pretty significant. So, those guys in New York, they're influenced by you guys. So, but he played a cleaner game, to his credit, not just maybe the league told those guys to keep it in a little more.
Wolf and Jewel were injured, left the game.
Yeah, we don't have a full amount of information on that yet. Those guys are right now getting evaluated. Both of those guys you mentioned are in the process of getting an MRI. So the MRI is the magic wand these days. You got to wait for that.
Coach, 3 games now without a sack or a takeaway. How do you buck this trend?
Just keep grinding away. All of these games have had kind of a similar type personality to them. And, the teams are trying to avoid us, particularly our outside rushers, of having an impact on the game, with throwing it quicker, running it more. We've been behind most of the time in all these games. And I think they're willing to accept that, until we can change it. And we've got to change it by playing better defense to where we can get into some more passing situations. We had some nice rush on a couple of the third downs yesterday, albeit they didn't result in sacks, but they did result in incompletion. So it's still there. That we've gone 3 games without one is highly unusual. I acknowledge that. But we've got to get better there.
Some people are actually now questioning Von Miller's fit in your defense. Is that even fair or right to do that?
Yeah, I don't think that's correct, because really he's playing basically the same way he's played in his whole career.
When you say you don't want to make change for change sake, is it a harder sell on the players to stay the course when they're not getting the results?
Oh, I think you just show them the video evidence of why you feel that way.
Is there a chance Janovich plays this week, and what would he bring to the offense?
There is a chance he plays, but we'll see how he looks in practice. I don't ever want to put a guy out there that's not completely ready to play.
What would he bring to the offense if he can play?
Well, he'd bring a steadiness, I thought Beck went in there yesterday and his snaps did a nice job overall. But Andy's experienced. He's experienced in this offense. He's an experienced fullback. Besides being a good fullback from a talent standpoint, he's experienced. And anytime you have a good combination of talent and experience, that's a good thing.
Well, was yesterday the right time to give Devontae Bosby a big opportunity, and how do you think he did?
He did fine. He had some really nice plays. Broke up a couple passes. He has some plays that he needs to fix. He had some plays that could potentially have been big plays for them, but they didn't find them. So he's got to correct them now that they're on tape. He could have tackled better in a couple instances, but overall he took advantage of his opportunity, and that's why we left him out there.
A few more for the coach. You mentioned only 1 hold, and then obviously a bit of a ticky-tack one. What did you see on the play? Is that maybe one of the 10 plays you'll turn in this week?
No, he held him.
Callahan, any update there?
Not yet. Not yet.
Coach, after watching the last 3 games, is there anything about Joe Flacco's performance where you feel like you need to encourage him to be more aggressive and push the ball down the field?
Maybe a little bit, but not a lot. We took a couple shots yesterday. We hit the big one, the Cortland. We had another one that we caught, but it was out of bounds down there on their sideline. We had some more called, but it didn't develop, based upon what they were doing defensively. So, yeah, probably, but, we have been to a degree too.
How did Todd Davis do in his first game back?
I thought he did fine, considering the guy really hadn't done much since training camp started. And for him to go in there and play the amount of plays that he played, I think it was very commendable, and hopefully that will set him up to play even better moving forward.
Last one, when you were brought in, for warranted reasons, you were labeled a defensive guru. And I think people expected great defensive play right off the bat. Can you explain why it's hard when you're installing a new scheme, new coaches, some new players, why it's hard to get those results right away.
Well, it doesn't have to be hard. In this case, it has been. But I don't think we've played terrible, but we haven't played good enough to win. You know, and I know some of our stats may be okay when you look at them, but you know, we've got to get more stops. Obviously, the takeaways are a big thing that we're not getting, which would help our offense. I know I'm not really answering your question, but it doesn't have to be. We expect more, as the players expect more, and we expect more as the coaches.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.